How many of you guys have done back comb balayage, ombre techniques before? Raise your hand. Okay? So here are our struggles with it. So let me tell you our struggles. Okay? How do you retouch it? Have you guys ever had that? Your clients come in. How do you back comb it again without overlapping and causing damage? Anyone? Anybody have that struggle? Okay. So some of my clients, go ahead and come over here. Nora. All right. That when they come back in, you have to know when they should come back in. All right? If they come back in too soon, you can cross the demarcation line and cause a lot of breakage. Okay? So I love to use a nice carbon comb with the teeth being really close. And what I do is I like to drag the nape area down lower, right? And the reason why is that when the hair goes around the neck, it contours and outlines the jawline. When everything is way too blonde and you push it up way too high, what happens is now she's all blonde. It just looks rooty. It doesn't have that contour effect. So just think about this. It's just like makeup, right? We want to contour. We want to, make them have a jawline, especially when they're taking a selfie.
Yeah, no double chins.
No double chins. So what's your favorite thing about mydentity color, Nora?
I've had so many aha moments with especially our lighteners. I don't know who else can relate to this, but you know when you're doing highlights sometimes and everything's perfect, but when you take the foil out, there's like a brassy, like line, that band, and you're like, what did I do wrong? Like you think you messed up. But it's not us. You know what happens is it's actually the fumes from the lightener that kind of discolor that orange line there. And when I used Big 9 and Magnum 8, we did a video on that with Amanya, and it showed it was perfect. There was no orange line. So it's pretty amazing.
It is. So as you guys see here, I actually lift the hair up and I back comb it down first. So I'll do that one more time here so you guys can see. All right? I find that this helps a lot for when you have that situation, like how do you get the tangles out, right? I think we over back comb. I usually only press once and twice, and I'm done. So I'll show you guys once again, okay? I do the low ombre until I get up to the curvature of her occipital bone, and then I go up high, right? And this section is about 1 inch thick, right? So I elevate it up. All right? So think about when you cut hair. When you elevate the hair 180 and you cut the hair, you get maximum blending of the layers. Don't you agree? Yeah? So just like this, when you lift it up, you press it once. It's about holding on to the length. Hold on to the length so you can push back all the textured short pieces that you have texturized when you cut in or thin out. You're able to hold on to all the long hairs and draw attention to it. You never want to draw attention to the pieces you texturize because now they stand out and look like what? Breakage. Does that make sense? All right.
The other thing that you do that I really like, if you notice the way you're holding it, it creates a flat panel so it doesn't get ropey because when you gather the hair, it sticks together.
Yes. By that, she means I don't hold it like this. You don't pinch it together. I hold it in a panel just like this. So I hold it nice and flat. And then I press it up one more time again, right? Just one more time. Okay, just like that. And we're just using conditioner, by the way, so don't freak out. We're not bleaching her again. Okay, so Nora painted on the foil with what we'll call our imaginary Magnum 8, okay? And I'll lay it down. And then now it has something to adhere to. But I want to show you something. What I hate is when the pieces get ropey, right when you put it on. So what I do is I take the comb and surface comb it, and just to kind of separate it so you don't have to go back and forth, back and forth. And what I love to do, guys, with the brush in a bowl, instead of having it just laid and dipped inside the bowl, now it's all sludgy, right? What I like to do is scoop it from the side. Does that make sense? You scoop it, and it's a lot cleaner in application. So let's just say you want to overlap her ends. Let's just say like her ends were level 9 and it's only here. And she says she wants it higher and she wants it blonder. How do you tackle this without damaging her hair, right? So what I do is I paint the top and then I will use another batch. Maybe this one is 20 volume, and this one is 30. So this one is 30, and I'll mix one that's 20 volume with Magnamate, right? So I'll overlap that one, and what I'm gonna do is this time I'm gonna take the short foil, right? So I'm gonna lay the short foil over the top and expose her ends to open air. Because when it's open air and it's cold, I mean, right now we have air conditioner on, all that affects how fast our hair lifts, right? So leaving the ends out allow you to monitor how fast it lifts. Because if it's already lightening, you can wipe it off immediately, but still have incubation with the natural hair that's up here. All right? You like that?
I know, I always have aha moments when we're working together. It's the little details that make a big difference.
But what's really important I want you guys to see is don't peek too much. Don't keep peeking because air gets inside. It's almost like you're baking brownies and then you keep opening the oven and then you watch it deflate. And then you try to close it back up. And it's not going to be the same. Just let it finish. Let it at least sit for 30 to 45 minutes. And then you could go, ooh, okay. Does that make sense? All right. Did you guys like that little technique? I know that has been the biggest struggle for all of us. All right, so when I get up to the occipital, okay, where it curves, I'm going to take a thinner panel. So when you want to take a piece that goes higher up, this is going to mimic balayage, right? We love to do balayage with clay-based lighteners. However, we know that you can't get my hair up to a level 10. That's just the reality. You can't. It's just going to be brassy, right? It is what it is. But sometimes we do want that underlying pigment. Like for our red here, I want to lift her up kind of a level 8 and then put the red over it because that's where red lives. But with her, I want it higher contrast, okay? So when you're dealing with hair that's slightly slippery, I would take a texture spray and mist it over because sometimes when you're trying to back comb the hair, it springs back. How many of you guys had that problem? Right? Just mist it with a little dry texture spray, not wet, dry, right? So I'm able to pull it out like this. Okay, so think here, just like how we cut hair. We elevate 90, 45, 0, 180. When we cut hair, we know the elevations and what it does, right? Coloring hair is the same way. When you back comb the hair, do you want to elevate it? In which direction? How much blur do you want? The more elevation you have, the more blurring you're going to get. So if you're holding it 0 degrees and back combing up, you're still going to see a demarcation line. Does that make sense? So what I do is elevate it up, hit it from underneath, drag it down, hold it 45, and push that up as close to this routage as possible. And notice that was only 2 push, right? I wasn't tugging and tugging. And now that we got Nora applied the lightener on here, sometimes you could go into a V, depending on how much hair she has and how you want the effect to be. I could go up a lot higher, right? I could lay that down, right? And again, these brushes are coming out soon. You get a feathering effect as you lay it over, okay? But I still want to do the V. And I try my best not to just drop it in. I try my best to lay the brush on the bowl because it looks so much more clean and neat, right? Have you guys ever had it where it's all sludge all over? Have you? And sometimes it can accidentally get on the other parts of the hair as you're sectioning. And you go, oops, that was one end. Now it's just a black spot, someplace you don't want it to be when you're doing a retouch. So this is really important to just do your scoop as usual. And again, if you want to leave the ends out, you can do that as well. Like let's say her ends are light enough, you could feather it. And then you could just put the foil over. So another thing I want to show you guys, I find that's very important, is we're going to do a little face frame action here. I know this may sound kind of basic, if you will, but I believe that this is my favorite way of creating that big money piece that everybody wants, right? So I always joke around about it. Every time I think about money shots, I think about porn, right? So, why did they call this money shot? I don't understand. But whatever. So I'm just going to turn her this way to the side. Okay. Here. Okay. So I always go parallel to the parting. Some people are a little bit more vertical. Some people is a little bit more diagonal, right? So I'll show you what I do. I take thin pieces, because these are for people who want bright pops around their face, right? So when I hold it out, I don't do the dig, like 1, 2, 3. When you do that, you get more of a checkerboard effect. You want to have more of a baby light, natural effect, right? So I hold the hair out parallel, and I don't know what we will call it, but I just call it the squiggle, right? So I like to use the thinner rat tail comb so I could squiggle my way in there, right? So squiggle, 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 squiggle. So when you see that, you can't tell that it looks stripy, right? It looks nice and blended. So instead of doing dig, squiggle. So you hold it straight and just go up and down versus digging. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so another thing that really helps me is instead of folding it in, I fold the foil out. And this helps you with paranormal activity situations. Have you guys had paranormal situations? Right? So the reason why this is so important is I'm going to show you here. And I want to show you techniques that you can actually utilize in the salon. Right? These are techniques that you are going to use in the salon every day versus showing you something you'll never use. Right? So again, when I close the foil, I don't crease it. Leaving this bubble is key here. If you crease it, you might have a line inside the hair that didn't get lightened, right? And then I fold it again, right? And again, I only press it down the center lightly, but don't squeeze this. Now, when you turn it back up, you can see that it slides just a titty bit right there, right? So you'll see me anchor it. Now, this will fasten it so it's nice and tight. But take notice, I don't like to close the sides because with lightener, they need room to expand. And if you close the sides, it has no room to expand. It's going to want to go up, and that's where you get bleeded spots. You have to give room for oxidation. You have to give room for the product to breathe outwards, right? Does that make sense, guys? So let's do about 3 of these, or 4, right? So see that squiggle? And always thin sections. The key is thin sections. When you take such a thick section, you're not going to be able to penetrate through all that, all right? It has to be thin. You want to be able to penetrate all the way through. Otherwise, you get like orange pieces, and that's not cute, right? Okay, so I'll show you guys what I do. Her hair is a little bit finer and shorter around the face. So I'm going to do about 3 back to back, or maybe 4. And I'll show you guys what I like to do and how this really, really makes the piece pop around the face. So with her, I'm probably going to have to do 4 back to back. But you can see that if this was in the salon, I would move really, really quick, right? And I keep working parallel, and I'll wrap it around her head going this way versus going horizontal. So think about foil placement, guys. If you go horizontal, you're going to see a line. If you go vertical, you're going to see a stripe because the hair is going to fall linear, right? So think about vertical, stripe, horizontal, blending. Diagonal, it creates movement, right? So anytime it's diagonal forward or back, it moves and it blends. And we want to create that movement, okay? So I'll give you an example here that what if I was to fold the foil this way? Because I know a lot of it's folded inwards, right? And I also believe that clean foils are a lot better when doing color correction because you want to be able to trace your pattern and go back in. But if you're doing all these weird folding stuff, it's hard to reopen the foils and do what you need to do when you're doing color corrections. So, okay, so we fold it out or in, right? And what happens is if you do this and then you close the sides, now if it moves, you can't re-anchor it. So there's going to be bleeded spots. Now when you need to cross-check because of anything, what happens is you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do all this. And then by this point, the foil will slide. You will have more paranormal situations, right? So to prevent that, I do it this way. Cleanliness is so important, okay? So that's why I follow a certain pattern in all of the foiling techniques I do. So I'm going to do one more here, just so I can show you guys how I do the pop around the face, because I know everybody wants that piece, so give it to them, okay? I always take a step back and look at the length, not oh, 3 back-to-back foils. That's not the case. Some people need 4, some people need 5, some people only need 2 or 3. The only way you can know is taking a step back, like so, and go, I want all of this blonde. So how much is all of that? So I open this up, I go, dang, this is her whole parietal area. I have to do back-to-back there. And then when I move to the back, I could skip an inch and weave, skip an inch and weave, skip an inch and weave. Where here, I have to do back-to-back. Make sense? Now, because this is left out, I'm going to hold it this away, okay? And I'm going to back comb this up parallel to that parting of how we did the foils here. Back comb that up and get this piece to really pop. Yeah? Do you guys like that? And I'm telling you, this is the technique you will use forever for the rest of your life, right? So at this point here, guys, I want to show you guys, I like to do the overlay, just like that. And then the way we're going to process this is fold it back, just like so. And you would take a clip and pin her back so she can process. You know why we pin her back? Because if it sits on her face, that heat, it's going to touch the foil, her hair is going to be white, and it's going to start breaking off, and that's not cute.